here we go again. I don't necessarily agree with his actions, though I get it. At the end of the day, it's a living. I'm excited to leave the house again. However, that usually means only one thing. Think positively, Jake. You never know, this time could be different. Though to my memory, which admittedly doesn't tend to span very long, it has never been different. The end result is always the same. Come on, Jake, let's go. Hop in the front seat. I would love to, yet the thoughts of what we are going to do alternate between dread and excitement. I love riding in the car, but I don't want to go. If only these decisions were more direct. Car it is. Tillman shuts the door behind me, rusty hinges creaking as the heavy steel door closes with force. Car rides are my favorite. What comes next is a close second, but this is the best part. I wish we didn't have to, but Tillman takes good care of me, and I don't see any other way. I sure am hungry, though. A full belly usually helps mitigate the guilt. Are you ready, Jake? I sure am. It's been a while this time, maybe longer than any gap before. I'm starved. He opens my door again and I make the long leap down. Tillman towers over me as I walk alongside him, partners in crime. My tail wags involuntarily a few times along the way. A young woman approaches in the distance. It's dark out here and I can smell her apprehension as she looks at him. Yet she softens, once looking at me. She is disarmed and continues walking forward. This is typical. That is such a cute dog. May I pet him? And what is his name? The young woman asks as we meet on the sidewalk. My tail wags again. Of course. His name is Jake, and he is a good boy. That makes one of us. Yes, he is. Hi, Jake. The woman greets cheerfully with her lips pursed, scratching behind my ears. That's my cue. I dart down a dark alley, suddenly, as if chasing a rat. I can hear them faintly behind me continuing in my footsteps, pretending to be interested in my concerns, though I know the drill. This poor girl won't be alive within the hour. Darkness descends, yet I continue further onward. Is Jake all right? He's running awfully far. Yes, very far. Far away from the street where we could be seen. We have been here before, and I can still smell my tracks. Her tracks. He's quite independent, aren't you, Jake? That's it, good boy. Show us what you're after. I'm a good boy. I'm doing a good thing for my human. The end of my tail wags slightly, even though I try my hardest to stop it. He's proud of me, and I'm doing a good job. I turn to face them and sit down with both ears perked up and tongue dangling. One small bark should get her attention. What is it, Jake? He's so funny. The woman laughs. Why did you bring us all this way? Look cute, Jake. Wag your tail and pant harder. They always think that's a smile. I'm excited and can't help but pat my right paw on the grimy ground as she walks closer with her hand outstretched to pet me. Yes, that feels excellent. The sound of a wet crunch hits my sensitive ears, followed by several more of the same. Tillman's shadowed outline towers over her, even from behind, as her face goes from joy to pale shock. She drops to her knees as he stabs her several more times with the precision of a surgeon, yet brutal nonetheless. My left ear drops and my head cocks to the right. This part never pleases me, particularly when they are as friendly as this one. But what comes next? Good boy, Jake. You're the only one I need in this world. No, not that. Even though it's life's highest calling. Tillman trusts me implicitly after I have proven myself time and time again. The real treat comes later when we get home, after he loads the girl up in the truck, gets me in the front seat again, and drives us home. We're in the spare bedroom now, and she lays on the table. Tillman raises a butcher knife high and brings it down on her wrist, then tosses the hand in front of me. Finally, my gift, the spoils of war. My mother's side, that being my wolf half, burns with desire staring at the flesh bestowed upon me. The call of the wild to eat what you technically killed replaces my rationality, my father's side, while staring at her hand on the floor. I leap onto it and eat every piece in only a couple crunchy bites. Tillman stares down proudly as the hand is thoroughly consumed, then tosses me the forearm. Life's greatest pleasure, a delicious meal of fresh meat. Yes, she was very nice, though feeding my wild instincts trumps having my ears scratched. I eat the forearm bone clean, then run it outside while he prepares more pieces for me to eat. Once I have had my fill, Tillman will dispose of the rest as it starts to spoil and becomes inedible, even for me. It's a wonderful life. Sometimes he goes places without me, which I don't mind because it allows me to rest and live the life of a normal dog. Sleep, play outside, lick my paws. I suppose Tillman is much the same way. In between killings, he is largely an unassuming man who likes to lounge and not do very much, at least not around me. Then he begins to grow restless, impatient, going from pacified to agitated at the drop of a hat. I know my time to perform draws near again, though I do not get fed much during the downtime. He has to keep me motivated, he says. Every now and then, the thought crosses my mind while he is sleeping on the couch. If my hunger becomes too much, I can just eat him while he sleeps. No, that would be bad. Be patient. It will make the next meal that much sweeter to wait for. I'm a good boy, I repeat to myself often. My human tells me so. This particular time, he seems unmotivated to continue. It has been a long time since the last one, or so my stomach tells me. My afternoon leisure time in the yard becomes hunting season for squirrels, cats, and birds. Primal instincts overtake again to satisfy the need in the pit of my stomach, which can't be filled by tiny bowls of compressed powder called dog food. Finally, the day comes. After a more prolonged time period than I have ever been forced to wait before, Tillman opens the passenger door to his truck and invites me inside. My tail wags with force, and the impatience I suffered through suddenly feels like a forgotten memory. The pinnacle of life and I couldn't be happier. He climbs in the driver's seat, and off we go. I pant so hard looking outside, the window fogs up and I can't see anything else. Happiness. Today we travel to a different type of place I have never been before. There are people all over, which already sets my fur on edge. But even stranger, they all have a dog on a rope standing next to them. This is a nightmare. Tillman circles around the truck towards my side as he has done countless times before, and pulls my door open. This time, though, he has a rope in his hand too, with a circle attached to the end of it. He tries to loop it over my head, but I do not like it at all. Pulling my ears back until they touch and stifling a low growl, I give him my best indication that I do not want this to happen. "Don't do this to me now, Jake. God damn it, let's go. Put it on." This is an issue. I'm a good boy, after all, but one that cannot be confined, nor should I be. However, I can't remember a time when Tillman has ever let me down, so with great reluctance and against my best judgment, I lower my guard and allow myself to be chained. I've been a wolf dog a long time, my entire life, in fact. I have never felt so silly as I do now. That is, until we enter the grassy area, and my stomach rumbles, staring at the dog's humans. Wonderful meat in all directions, and the reason we must be here. Faith slightly restored. "There you go, Jake. That's much better. Let's go get you some dinner. You would like that, wouldn't you?" Wouldn't you, Jake? I cannot help it, and I wish it didn't happen, but the thought starts my tail wagging. Great, he probably thinks I like the rope around my neck. That's right, good boy. Remember, I need you. None of this happens without you, Jake. He needs me. Okay, I can do this, especially if there's a fresh meal at the end of the road. Tillman walks toward the crowd and eventually pulls the rope tight, yanking me forward by the neck. I have never done this before. He tugs several more times until I start moving and join him at his side. Many other smaller dogs stare at me judgingly, though little do they know I would rip their throats out if I wasn't on a special assignment. I march on proudly, ignoring their glares with my chest held broad. A low and deep growl as we pass is enough to silence all their thoughts. Jake, stop it. We're here for the girl, not the dogs. Behave. He whispers sharply. Behave. Tillman has killed men before, too, but women are usually much more receptive to the canine or lupine companion. Oddly enough, there are mostly women here today with their dogs, so just about anyone could be the target, and not one of their dogs are built to protect them. What's this? Two of the smaller dogs approach to introduce themselves. No! Away with you! I shoo them silently, but they don't leave. In fact, they seem far too comfortable. I lob and hurl insults and threats, yet they only wag their curled-up tails and stand blankly like empty cups, without a thought of their own. One of the owners is abrupt and yanks her dog's rope back to pull it away from me, but the other, that must be her. Tonight's meal. She has brown hair and a smile that stretches across the entirety of her face, already a sign of bad things to come for her. Youngish, maybe 30, though the human species makes almost no sense to me. At this point, she has lost all interest in her own dog and is instead fixated on me, another indication Tillman has already sunk his mental claws into her. I must repeat again, but I do not enjoy what follows. I only make the best out of the situation I've been placed in. Tillman is who he is, with or without me. Your dog is beautiful. What breed is he? And what's his name? The woman asks. Thank you. His name is Jake, and he's actually half wolf. She yanks her hand back as if touching something sharp. A wolf? He isn't going to bite me, is he? Tillman looks down at me and plasters on a smile only I know to be fake. He's good at this. Of course not. I wouldn't bring him here around all these other dogs if he wasn't a good boy. The woman leans in again, though I sense reluctance. I can smell it. My first instinct is to bite clean through her fingers for a snack, though that would ruin my meal in more ways than one. I can't help but sniff her hand as it approaches, being that it smells like other dogs. Curiosity wins. You're right, he is a good boy. She continues to scratch behind my ears while her pathetic dog watches in jealousy. Of course he is. So what's your name anyway? Extended seconds of silence lapse between them as she stares at Tillman. What, you're not going to tell me? He counters stiffly. Isn't it funny how we grow up our whole lives afraid to give personal information to strangers? Then, as soon as we're adults, we hand it out like candy. They stare at each other for an uncomfortable silence once again. He looks down at me, and I wish I could shrug in return. I'm kidding. Lighten up. My name is Victoria. You seem harmless anyway. She winks at him. Oh, how I wish I could shrug at her now. Tillman only grunts in return. Well, what's your name? Or are you afraid I might stalk you? It's Tillman. I'm Tillman. That's an interesting name, Victoria answers. Can't say I've ever met a Tillman, though you look like one. Is that a first or last name? There's my sign. He hates when people grow too interested in his personal life, so this is where I step in and bark at her dog, who nearly has a heart attack. Knock your shit off, Jake! He scolds with a yank on my chain, knowing full well what I did for him. Oh, he's fine. He probably just wants to play, don't you, Jake? No, I want to eat your hand waving in my face. Go ahead and say hi, Jake. It's okay. She continues. This is Frankie. Say hi to him, Frankie. Don't be afraid. I don't much like Frankie in general, but Tillman gently nudges me and I never break character when put to the task. The small and shivering dog cowers beneath my approaching snout. Just let me sniff you and I'll be done for both our benefits. Quite unpleasant. Frankie isn't winning me over. There you go, Jake. I have a way with dogs, do you know that? I suppose you wouldn't, but now you do. It is something of a gift, though not one I can share physically. May I? She asks Tillman, gesturing toward me. Sure, he deadpans. Victoria cups both hands under my snout and raises my head to meet her eyes. What a bizarre human. Usually they are dull as can be. Now she is whispering and I would like to bite her. No, you don't want to bite me. My ears shoot back and a surge rushes through me. Take your hands off me. I don't like this anymore. Calm, Jake. Calm down and look at me. Just look at me. She rubs beneath my ear with 2 fingers and continues to stare. Okay, I'm listening. Her eyes speak 1,000 words, yet say nothing at all. This is both weird and enthralling, warming even, and I find myself growing slightly fond of her. I can smell her suddenly in the best way, perfume overloading my senses. I feel comfort. Tillman yanks the chain slightly to break my concentration. Time to go. Oh, I didn't realize. I mean, if you have to leave, that's fine. We do. Nice to meet you. Victoria and Frankie scurry off awkwardly. I glare at Tillman, thinking with my stomach and feeling disappointed that a meal got away so easily. He pauses for several seconds, then holds up her wallet. I snagged it while she was talking to you. Let's go. We'll meet her at home. He reaches down and finally removes the chain. My tail wags. We march back to our car to escape before Victoria realizes what happened. One of the passerby stops with a small dog of her own. You know your dog is supposed to be on a leash. What kind of dog even is that? Fuck off, Tillman counters, marching on. A man of singular focus with his eyes set squarely on the target. He sure is great. You must be starving, boy. Me too, just in a different way. We sit in the truck now down the street from Victoria's house. Night has fallen over us while we wait. Tillman stares out the windshield unnervingly still and calm, so I do too. Dinner is coming. Without saying another word, not that he does often, he opens the car door and circles to his left. My tail does the thing again where it wags on its own, and I have no control over it. The day has been long and stressful with an empty and grumbling belly, but we have nearly made it to the finish line. My door swings open now, and it's go time. Always trust the process. The neighborhood is dark and the houses are spaced out well, almost perfect for the type of evening staring us down. To the outsider, we are a man and his dog walking down a desolate sidewalk, yet only we know the truth. Victoria was nice, though I'm starved and not thinking like myself. Tillman stops in his tracks, so I take a nice drink from the gently running gutter water in preparation. Okay, Jake, this is the house. I'll let you through the backyard gate, and you know what to do from there. I don't, although I have an idea. Run to the sliding door and growl lightly to get the dog's attention. Frankie? Then bark loud and uncontrollably until both of them exit the house. Distract and divide. Tillman slips in through the door as Victoria inspects the yard. "Jake, is that you? What are you doing here?" I know I shouldn't, but I like her energy. Shaking my head, I snap back to the present moment and bark once more to grasp her attention, then dart past and run inside, hoping they give chase. "Nice house, Victoria." The first thing I'm going to do as I wait is eat all Frankie's food. She must have been settling in for the evening when we interrupted, as only the living room light and television are on. Otherwise, the house is dark and ready to get gruesome. My senses are overwhelmed by the smell of Victoria on every surface, which makes sense inside her own house, but the magnitude is dizzying. It feels like she's surrounding me from every side, rushing into my nose and filling my head with intrusive thoughts of her. This is incredibly confusing in the wake of previously wanting her for dinner. I feel fondness for her. "Jake, what's wrong? Are you in trouble?" She walks toward me from the door with concern in her face. Before I can bark, "No, but you are," Tillman shakes the floor with his heavy run from the dark kitchen. The sudden commotion startles Victoria, and she blindly swings a baseball bat hidden at her far side, hidden in the shadows. The wooden barrel strikes Tillman's jaw, but the momentum carries his massive form forward and tackles her to the ground, smashing her head on the coffee table. They both lay still in the aftermath of the attack, although he continued stumbling a bit further than she did before hitting the floor. Frankie barks uncontrollably in retaliation, but is easily fixed with a deep, rumbling growl in return. He flees from the house to leave his human defenseless and alone, an embarrassment of the highest order. I don't know what to do to help them. I don't even have thumbs, but I would never run away. Victoria stirs first and without a sound, though I sense it loud enough. She lays still for a moment under my observation, trying to keep her breathing quiet, yet she shakes. "Jake?" I hope she doesn't mean me. "I need you to help me, Jake. Come over here so I can see you. Good boy, please." "What?" My ears perk straight up, as does the hair along my back. Good boy? She thinks I'm a good boy too? I wish I could help her, but then what does that mean for Tillman? "That is a very bad man that has raised you, but I know better. I saw it earlier when we met. Don't you remember, Jake? I could tell you know right from wrong, even with that evil monster pulling you by the chain. That damn chain. But he did it for my own good. He was trying to find me a meal, which led me to you, and I am happy he did." My tail wags as I stare at Victoria, even though she doesn't appear to be awake, laying still on the hardwood. She is doing a great job pretending. "I can tell you care about me, don't you? Then help me. Attack your master. Kill him. Eat him. I know you've thought about it before. But how did you know that?" "I have, though it is painful to admit. I just get so hungry when he doesn't feed me." "You have to choose, Jake. You can only rescue one of us. So who is it going to be? This is not a good lifestyle, but I can take care of you. I can feed you every night, love you, and keep you safe. You can stop living like a wolf and become a dog here. How does that sound? All you have to do is kill that man before he wakes up, and then you're free. Chew his face off so I can take care of you, because you know I will never be safe if he is alive." "Kill Tillman?" "Kill Tillman, yes. You have to. It won't be hard. He is only laying there just like I am. But hurry, he might wake up any second now." A normal life? I thought my life was normal, or at least by our standards. Now I'm staring down the barrel of a life without Tillman, the only human I have ever followed, to join the magnetic Victoria. I look over at his unconscious body and wonder for a second if this will be the last time I ever see him. Could it really be the end of the road? No. He's my beast. I leap through the air, Wolf in the driver's seat, landing on her body and tearing it to pieces. Finally, a decent meal and a full belly. Tail wagging, I trot over to Tillman and lick his face to show him how we did. My human, the monster I am responsible for.